And let's start seated for a moment. So take some support for Swastikasana, seated pose. We have been, the last maybe week or two, skipping over the seated centering. I wouldn't say skipping over, but moving into either a quiet pose first or something other than just being seated, which is fine to do. It's also great to get the seat first. And just as a side note about being seated at the beginning of your practice or doing a restorative pose at the beginning of your practice, that, I mean, on the one hand, it's always good to take some time in the seat to chant the invocation, to chant the prayers, and it brings blessings to the practice and the whole day for that matter. At least that's the way it's looked at in the yoga philosophy. And it has the additional benefit of bringing the nervous system to a state of becoming, a state of quieting. And sometimes in the morning, you can really accomplish that state of calm just by like moving directly into one or two restorative asanas like Adho Mukha Virasana or a supported downward facing dog pose. But if you're practicing in the evening, it's definitely good to take a seat first, just to sit and to center first, and even maybe 2, 3, or 4 restorative poses or a very long inversion practice before you really begin any vigorous asanas, because it can help bring the mind into what you're doing. And ultimately, anytime you come to the practice and you find your mind is going in a lot of different directions, or you're very tired or very anxious, any of those emotional disturbances, then you need to immediately deploy some kind of a technology that can help bring your attention into your body. So sitting like this is definitely one of the common approaches, and then it has that dual purpose of we can do the prayers at the beginning, which we're not going to do the prayers today, but we do them in live classes. So sit with your legs crossed at the middle of the shins with your feet stacked approximately underneath your knees. So there's a foot that's buried a little deeper. It's the leg that's in closer to the perineum. That foot, especially, it's important to keep the outer edge of that foot pressing down into the floor, because it's buried deeper under the thigh of the front leg, if you will, in this position. And it's much easier to collapse on that foot and allow it to heavily, I think the right thing to say would be supinate very, very intensely in this, the foot and ankle supination for that front, that inner leg could be more. So keep that outer edge of the foot or pressing down into the floor, the inner ankle on that foot. For me, it is my right leg extending, inner ankle extending. Rest the hands at the midpoint on the thighs with the palms turned either up or down. Either is fine for today, but give downward pressure into the hands. And by giving downward pressure into the hands, with the hands midway along the thighs, near kind of halfway between the knee and the hip crease, your elbows will be bent with your femur bones along the sides of the ribs. And that downward pressure, use that to roll the skin of the top shoulder and the armpit sides of the chest up toward the ceiling, and the top skin of the shoulder, roll it over the shoulder down in the direction toward the back shoulder blade. And you'll feel that brings an alertness to the sternum bone, or it raises the sternum bone up toward the ceiling. At the same time, bow the head toward the heart. This is a very slight Jalandhara Bandha, throat lock. Don't harden the throat, but just use the shape to create this little bit of pressure in the throat. And with the chest lifting, keep the chest lifting, join the hands together in Atman Anjali Mudra in front of the body. Point the fingers out, have the thumbs going up the sternum bone, and park the heels of the hands in the little gap that's formed from the xiphoid process below the sternum bone and the ribs as they complete the rib cage, or as the, I guess I should say, as the upper abdomen completes. Join the index finger knuckles strongly, but still keep the top skin of the shoulders rolling over the shoulder and down toward the shoulder blade, and the armpit chest lifting. See that both of your shoulders drop the same distance away from your ears. There tends to be a higher shoulder. That also tends to be the one that's had a history, if you will. And if things feel awkward in the body here, the tendency is that something is imbalanced in the seat. Maybe one sitting bone doesn't make contact as firmly as the other. Don't make corrections, just gather that information, see how the asana affects the state of mind and the state of ease or dis-ease in the body. And we'll chant the sound of Om one time together. Inhale. Release the hands. This time, make them turn up. Keep the head bowing to the heart. Lift the sides of the chest up, and then inhale to lift the head with closed eyes, and exhale to open the eyes. Good, and then release the legs in front of you. Remove your blankets or your whatever you were sitting on, take that out. Come onto your hands and knees, preparing for Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog pose. Initially set your pose up so that your shoulders stack directly over your wrists and your knees are directly underneath your hips. Curl the toes underneath. And when we come up into the pose, you will need to walk your feet back, but don't walk them back too much. When you come up, and I'm going to say this before you go up, immediately when the legs straighten, you'll look at your feet, and when you walk your feet back, you take the feet as wide apart as the hands and have the second toes parallel. With your arms, before you go up, make sure the elbows are straight. Extend from the inner upper shoulder, about where the front deltoid is. Extend from there through the heel of the hand to press the thumb side of the hand down. At the same time, you press the pinky knuckle down and extend through the outer side of the arm as well. But you're going to have to extend more through the inner line of the arm than the outer. So straighten the knees, lift the hips, come up, then take a little step back with the feet. It's just about an inch or two, not too much. Look at your toes, second toes parallel. Your heels should be slightly farther apart than your big toes here. And straighten your arms if you haven't yet. They should have been straight from the beginning, but if you lose it coming into the pose, regain the straightness and press from the thumb down into the ground and extend from that anchor point up through the inner shoulder to make the inner line of the arm longer. The inner line of the arm is shorter than the outer line of the arm, from the pinky finger side up to the outer shoulder. So make an effort to equalize that discrepancy in length from inner to outer. Extend the inner more. Extend even more. And you'll see as you negotiate and get that inner line of the arm to elongate, it will, of course, extend the spine and take more weight, or should have the effect of taking more weight back into the heels and into the legs. Press the ankles back, middle of the femur bones back, and then look at your two kneecaps. And most of us find in this pose that one of the thighs does not turn in as much as the other. And that turning in of the thighs is not the simple fix of throwing the shin bone and the inner knee back. That's a very easy thing to do. That's not turning the thighs in. So take your attention up to the top thighs, near where the waistline is, and turn the thighs out from there. And yes, the inner knees will go back slightly with that, but it's a completely different feeling of action than just tossing the inner knee and the shin bone back. So that you're turning your thighs from the inside out, from the root of the thighs, where they connect up into the lower part of the abdomen. Turn those connecting points from the outside, turn them in. And then extend the butt up as you stamp the heels back and down. From here, look forward, bend the knees, and jump forward to Uttanasana. Once you've jumped, set your feet parallel to each other. Have a few inches between the feet so that you have the hip distance. Straighten the knees by taking the shin bones and the body weight forward so that you're pressing more weight into the toes and the metatarsals, but then resist the femur bones back. Shins and body weight forward, femur bones resist back, release the head. And then take the hands to the hips, point the elbows up, inhale to come up to stand in Tadasana. Stand where you're at, you don't have to face the camera. Join your feet together, Tadasana, mountain pose. This pose has the quality of being somewhat of a balanced pose, especially with the feet together. So, shin bones press forward, press weight down into the metatarsals, especially the big toe, and spread the toes down into the ground and forward. At the same time, the body weight and the shins are going forward. This is different than how I sometimes teach this pose, because we oftentimes say take body weight back, take everything back to the heels. And yes, we're going to do that, but we're going to first get the body weight forward and press the toes down. Now that you've got the shins slightly forward, the knees are straight, the toes are pressing down. Now keep the shins slightly forward without bending the knees, and take the front top thighs, and I'm pointing on myself with them here, take those front top thighs up and back. And yes, your pelvis will tilt slightly as well. The tailbone will move. It will have the feeling of going forward in this position. And you should feel like you're lifting from your thighs through your abdomen. And now there's more weight back in the heels. But that weight going back into the heels, still the shin bones are resisting forward. And it brings a completely different feeling of straightening the knees, that you're not just squeezing the quadricep muscles or throwing the shin bones and the knees back, but you're engaging these kind of cross directions. The shin bones forward, the thigh bones up and back. And that brings a totally different quality of straightness to the legs. Now, with that, even further emphasize these actions in your pelvis. Draw your outer hips in, but release the bottommost part of the buttocks so that you're not squeezing the anus and the perineum, the floor of the pelvis. Release that, but still compact the outer hips in, and further take the top buttock down toward the heels and lift up through the front top thighs. Take attention through the abdomen. That lift of the front top thighs should engage, or it should initiate that abdomen moving in and up, the chest expanding. Get the front top, or the outer side chest rather, and the front top shoulders to lift, front top shoulders to roll back and over in the direction of the shoulder blades. And then marry that with having straight elbows and turning the arms from the inside out. Lift the back of the head straight up without jamming or squeezing in the throat. The neck should be soft, but still, it's like the neck and the throat should be soft and not hard, yet there's still an upward extension of the cervical spine. But the crown of the head is reaching up, yet there's no tension in the jaw, no tension in the throat. And maintain that. Go back to the legs, shin bones forward, thigh bones back. Now for Urdhva Hastasana, as best as is possible for you, keep the spine in this extended position. Don't create a back bend at all. Don't take your weight forward at all. First, bring your arms forward, have the palms facing each other, straighten the elbow joint, and turn the biceps up. Start to extend the arms overhead. Move slow enough to feel how the weight distributes. You're studying your pose as you're going into it. Take weight back into the heels by lifting the femur bones up and back. Shin bones resist forward to press down through the feet. Take the arms up, up, and up. Straighten the elbows, and then keep taking the arms back, but do it from the shoulders, not from your lower back. Actually just, and you can do this, isolate just the arms and the shoulders, press them back. As the arms press back, press the shoulder blades forward, like you're pumping the shoulder blades into the territory of the lungs and squeezing the shoulders back behind your ears, or squeezing the arms back. Extend up as much as you press the shoulder blades forward. Re-straighten the elbows by firming the triceps onto the bone and extend up through the hands. Take the arms even further back. And then keep the pose, keep the arms up, shins forward, thighs back. And then release the arms forward and down. We're going to go down into Uttanasana. We're going to go through Urdhva Hastasana first several times. So we're going to do kind of Uttanasana into Uttanasana and up to Urdhva Hastasana several times. So for me, I'm feeling a little stiff this morning. I'm going to grab some blocks because I want to continue having a relatively flat back. So I'm grabbing blocks and I'm putting them in front of me at the middle setting. If your hamstrings tend to give you, are more stiff for you, you might have these blocks at a higher setting. So we're going to go up and down from Urdhva Hastasana to Uttanasana several times here. We're going to start off the first 2 times with having the feet hips width apart, second toes parallel. Now it's a little bit easier to keep your balance in Tadasana. We don't always think of Tadasana as a balancing pose, but it is. And shins forward, thighs back. Recreate that same compactness to the hips, the lift of the abdomen, shoulders rolling, skin of the top shoulder rolling down toward the shoulder blade. Take the arms forward, palms face each other, extend the arms overhead. Lift up through the hands without hiking up shoulder blades. You should not over harden your shoulder blades, like you shouldn't harden the sides of the neck, but you also don't want to extend the arms purely by elevating the shoulders either. So you have to find a middle road between hardening and pulling the shoulders down with all your might, and actually seek the extension coming from the side armpits and the ribs and the fingers extending up, rather than just elevating up the shoulders. I hope that makes sense. Now lift the chest, shins forward, thighs back, hinge at your hips, extend forward, take the hands to the blocks, keep the back flat by pressing the back ribs forward into the chest. When you're down on the floor or the blocks, I'm going to move my blocks back a little bit so I'm away from this wall. When you're back on your blocks, shins forward, thighs back. And when your shins go forward, a lot of your body weight should go forward too. You should feel that you pressurize more weight into the hands. Take the thigh bones back. Hit the thigh bones back. And now from the root of the front top thigh, the pants pocket area, turn the thighs in. Turn the thighs in even stronger. Stay down in this pose, flat back. Extend the arms alongside the ears. Inhale, extend the arms to bring you up. Extend the arms up, take the hands down. Now, one more time with the feet apart. Extend the arms overhead. Inhale, extend up. Lift up through the body, shins forward, thighs back. Keep shins forward, thighs back, hinge at the hips, extend forward, take the hands to the bricks. Create further separation between the ribs and the thighs. So you, depending on how deeply your hamstrings allowed you to go into this pose, your ribs will be some distance away from your front top thighs, or it could be in contact with the front top thighs. Make whatever that spacing is, the length of the abdomen, make it longer. As if you were pulling your nipples and your chest and your rib cage through your arms, and look forward. Look forward toward the wall in front of you, the wall you were just facing in Tadasana. Look forward, use the looking forward to drive the chest through the arms. Yes, you are using your neck muscles. Don't overstrain to pick the head up too much. Extend the arms, inhale to come up. Back to Urdhva Hastasana, and now release the arms alongside the body, join the feet. And extend the arms up. Urdhva Hastasana in Tadasana with the feet together. So it's the classical Tadasana feet. Extend up, lift the chest, lift the spine, shins forward, thighs back, and extend forward. Hinge at the hips, take the hands to the blocks. At this point, the hamstrings might have some tone and some feeling of flexibility to them now, and you might be taking your blocks down a setting. The knees cannot bend though, and my instruction to take the shin forward and the thighs back is helping to straighten the knees in a way that's more sophisticated than just throwing the shin bones and the knee joints back. Shins forward, thighs back, and turn the upper outer thighs. Like I often will use this like place marker, this roadmap point of your front pants pockets. Turn that forward. And yes, your knees will turn back slightly, but don't just do it from your inner knees. Take the shins forward, thighs back, and turn the upper outer thighs from the outside sides of the room in toward the middle of the body. And investigate which of your thighs doesn't do it as readily, because we all have one hip that's tighter or one hamstring that's tighter, one knee that gives problems, and that leg may not play ball as readily as the other leg. Sensitize yourself. Extend the arms. Inhale, come up. Shins forward, thighs back. Release the arms. Last time. Urdhva Hastasana. Inhale up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, extend forward, Uttanasana. Now, retract the shoulder blades so you fill or draw the upper arm bones further onto the back by retracting the shoulder blade or retracting the shoulder blades. Shins forward, thighs back. Dive the chest forward and elongate the abdomen. Now, once again, look forward. Your hands, if you've lowered your blocks, your hands are lower, and you're not going to look as high up on that wall, but still attempt. Look up and look up with the chest as well as the eyes. And now see, if you can take your blocks totally out, go for that. And if you don't have blocks now, you put the thumbs in line with the big toes. Keep the head looking forward, shoulder blades retracting. Now shins forward, thighs back, turn the front top thighs in. Now bend the elbows, release the head out, two of them. The head out or down toward the floor. Turn your thighs in, shins forward, thighs back, elbows bend out to the sides, and take the backs of the ears down, that back of the earlobe that's closer to the back of your head. As if someone was pulling you, and this is sometimes an adjustment we'll give in this pose in downward facing dog, that someone pulls those back earlobes straight down. Now plant your hands and walk your feet back for Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. When you walk your feet back, watch the feet, see that they end up as far apart as your hands. Second toes parallel to each other. And now from your outer hips, stamp down your outer heels as you turn the very front top thighs in and fight the thigh bones back as you stamp the heels down. Walk the feet back forward to Uttanasana. And now take your bricks. You should be back at the front of your mat now where you were doing Uttanasana with the bricks. Take the bricks up to the tallest setting. Border them around your feet so that the bricks are at the high setting outside the feet. And we're going to move to Parsvottanasana, one-legged forward extension using the bricks. So step your left foot back. When you step the left foot back, plant it turned in 45 degrees. Now the tendency here is for the hips to sway out towards that right side of your yoga mat. That's just kind of the natural tendency for most people. Lift your left hip up away from the ground. Lift the left front top thigh up away from the ground and turn the left front top thigh in and press the muscles of the hip down in the direction of the left heel. And those actions together should pull the right hip in toward the midline. So I'll go through them again. Turn the left front top thigh in and lift that left front top thigh away from the ground. And then from the muscles of the buttock on the left side, lift that hip up and stamp those muscles down in the direction of the left heel. And yes, you should feel the left heel get stronger on the ground as you marry all those actions. Now resist the right shin bone up, right front top thigh back, and tighten the outer band of the right leg in toward the middle, like the iliotibial band on the outside of the right leg. Cut that in toward the femur bone. And lift the chest. Look forward toward the edge, the front edge here of your yoga mat. And then step forward with the left foot. Take the feet together. Step back with the right. Plant the right foot 45 degrees. Heel down. Straighten the knees. Have straight elbows. You're still using the bricks at the tallest setting. And now go back to your right leg. Lift the front right top thigh away from the ground. And then turn that right front top thigh from the outside in. Lift the right buttock away from the ground with the front top thigh and use the strength of the hip and the muscles of the buttock to press down into the right heel so that more of your body weight stamps down through that right leg to that right heel. And you want to be so strong on that right leg that you could lift your arms away from the ground in a very, if I'm not saying that you have to do this, but your arms should be accessories in this pose. Now, keep that in the back leg. Cut the outer edge, the outer line of the left leg in towards the bone. Lift the left shin bone up. It's not that your knee is going to bend. I hope you haven't been bending your knee through all this. You're just taking internally, feeling that the shin bone is going up, and that's pressing the metatarsals and the toes down more, but then you resist the left thigh back toward the left thigh, toward the right heel in this position. Strongly cut that outer line of the left leg in, lift the chest, and look forward. Step forward, feet together. We're going to go a little faster now. Step the left foot back. Parsvottanasana, flank forward extension. When you step the foot back, take the left leg actions. Take the left front top thigh away from the ground, turn it in, hip to the heel, weight back into the heel, cut the outer line of the right leg in toward the bone. And I'm giving you a lot of instructions with your legs. Try to keep up. Shin bone on the right leg resists up as the right front top thigh resists back toward the left heel. Now take the bricks down a setting, lift the chest, and see what bailed out. When you went a little deeper into the pose, did you lose the actions of the right leg? Did you lose that actions of the left hip? Turn, just correct. I don't want to have to say all the instructions over and over again, but observe your pose, see what bails out for you, and correct. For me, my hips sway over to the right when I go deeper into the pose, so I need to correct cutting the outer line of the right leg in and turning the left front top thigh in even more. And then take the bricks back up a setting, step the left foot forward, right foot back. Stay on the higher setting of the brick to set up the actions of the pose. Turn the right front top thigh in, buttock to the heel. Resist that front right top thigh away from the floor. Go to the left leg, shin bone up, femur bone back, outer line of the leg in. So you should feel that the outer shin on the left makes a divot in toward the tibia bone. The outer thigh muscles, or that outer tendinous band of the iliotibial tract, cut that in toward the femur bone. Now observe the pose. Do all of it. Do all the pieces we've been talking about. Observe, take the bricks down. Now, yes, of course, the easiest thing to bail out is your back. You could end up just rounding your back, but what bailed out in your legs? What did you lose by going a little bit deeper? And there's no consequences to that, but observe and study and course correct from there. Did the hips poke out to the left? Then cut the outer left hip in, the outer line of the left leg in. Turn the right front top thigh from the outside in more. Did you lose the heel on the back leg? Then lift the buttock and that hip away from the floor and stand back into the rear heel. Turn the blocks up a setting, step forward, step the left leg back. And now go through all the actions, do all of it. And then take the bricks down. Fix your hips, fix your back leg thigh, press weight into the back heel. Take the outer line of the right leg, cut it in toward the middle. With the bricks down a setting, now go to no bricks. Take the bricks out, place the hands on the floor, cup-shaped hands, fingers down, and now flatten your back. Retract your shoulder blades, elongate your rib cage in the direction of your knee, and press your chest towards your toes. Now, what bailed out? Certainly the back heel gets lighter as you go deeper into the pose. Press weight into the back leg as you stretch the abdomen long. Cut the outer line of the right leg in toward the middle. Now take the bricks back in, highest setting, and step forward left leg, step back right. Last time, last side. Start off flat back, fix your hips, press weight into the back heel. I'm summarizing a lot of these cues and these instructions with your legs. And the summaries are basically fix your hips, fix your front leg. Fixing the front leg is one of the most important here. Outer line of the leg in, shin up, thigh resists back toward the right heel. Now, take the bricks down. Medium setting. Lift the chest. What did you lose? Regain, reestablish what you've lost. For me, it was my back heel that got lighter. So I have to lift that back hip, my right hip up, stamp weight into the right heel. Then take the bricks out completely, place the fingers down. Lift the chest, extend the abdomen long, chest toward the toes, look forward, retract the shoulder blades. And now what have we lost? Have we thrown the shin bone on the left leg down and just thrown the knee down? Resist the shin bone up. If that's the case, then you have to work harder resisting the shin bone up and the thigh bone toward the right heel. And so I can't exactly tell you what's going astray in your pose, but assume that something, by going deeper into the pose and taking less support of the props, has bailed out on you, even if it's just 1%. and get it back to its fullest capacity as best as is possible for you today. And then take the bricks back in, taller setting with the bricks, step forward, take the hands to the hips, inhale, back up to Tadasana. Good. And turn to the side or turn on your mat to face the camera, face forward so that you have the long way of your mat out to the side. Step the feet wide for Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. No bricks are needed, I'm just moving mine out of the way. Set your feet with the outer edges of your feet parallel to that short edge of your mat. Now we're going to go with a similar set of instructions in Prasarita Padottanasana to take the shin bones forward and the thigh bones back. But rather than just forward and back, we're going to go more for rotational actions. So to take your shin bones forward, turn, and I've instructed this a few times in the last few days, to turn from about right here, an inch or two below the knee, near the upper part of the shin bone, turn that in. Blend that turning in with turning right here, the front creases of the thighs, turn those out. And yes, the knee that you turned in and the shin that you turned in, these two will have to fight each other. You've got one turning out, one turning in, so that you can't just throw the shins and the knees back to straighten the knees. So this is especially helpful if you do have the knee issues. It's not that it's going to cure it, but it's definitely going to keep the knee stable in a way that's better than just throwing the knees around. So turn the shins in, turn the thighs out. With the hands on the hips, keep those turns of the lower legs, lift the chest, throw the head back, but do that mainly from your upper back arching and your back ribs moving forward. Point your elbows back. Keep that back bend shape of the thorax as you hinge at the hips and extend forward to place the hands on the floor. Concave back. Turn the shin bones in, turn the thigh bones out. And this should have a similar flavor and feeling of having the shin bones going forward and the thigh bones going back, but now we're asking that forward and back to come from rotations. And yes, it's complex and subtle to blend both, and I'm well aware that it's sort of physically impossible in a way to do both like to their maximum. So you have to blend about 50% of each. Turning the shins in, turning the thighs out, so that one does not overpower the other. And it's a push-pull taking place in the lower leg, or the whole leg for that matter. Now, to go into the head on the floor pose, some of you might need a block or a blanket for your head. Get that ready if you need to. Take the hands back. Take the heels of the hands in line with the heels of the feet. Have the index fingers point forward, shins turn forward, top thighs turn back. As you release the head forward and place the forehead on the floor. Actually, not the forehead, rather the crown of the head. Take the outer elbow joints back and lift the shoulder blades up. The elbows should be shoulder distance apart, not closer, not farther. And see, can you turn the elbows, or rather turn the triceps toward each other without bringing the arms any closer to each other? And then inhale to lift the chest and come up, walk the hands forward, take the hands to the hips, inhale to come up, walk the feet, heel toe the feet together, and set up for Shirshasana, headstand. Now, we are going to set up a little bit differently than we have in the past for headstand. We're going to all use the wall today, and we're going to be taking one variation of headstand called one-legged headstand, Ekapada Shirshasana. So to do this, you're also going to grab a chair. This is one of a few ways of doing this pose. So So I open my chair up, I have my mat folded to the wall. You could also be using a blanket for the wall for this. And your chair is going to go close enough to your setup to the wall to where your feet can go onto the chair with your legs parallel to the floor and your spine perpendicular to the floor. And if you look at the video, I will show you how, to turn my camera a little bit, but I'll show you how close it needs to be. Let's see if I can get my camera to be stable here. There we go. So even if you have the bench, like I know Amy, you've got the bench, it'd be better to do the classical pose with the base. So I want to show how close I actually have to have this chair, and it does crowd things quite a bit. So this is how close the chair is. That when I'm kneeling, this chair maybe is a little too close, but not really. It should be kind of in my way, like it should be up to my butt when I set up my base, so that when I go up into the pose, it's not too far away. So I set my base, I place my head, I lift my legs, and I place my legs on the chair. If the chair is too far away, your back will not be perpendicular to the floor, okay? So this is called Ardha Shirshasana, half headstand. Get into this pose, set your base well, and again, you have to take your feet out, and I have to, and you'll probably have to, border your shin bones around the front legs of the chair, and your butt might even touch the edge of the seat of the chair. That's how close it has to be. Set your base, interlace your fingers, place the crown of the head a little bit toward the forehead side of the hands, or a little bit toward the forehead side of the head, but not much, in the cup form between the hands. Press down into the inner elbows, press the outer wrist down, lift the shoulders up, and now straighten the knees, lift the hips up, and then step one foot and then the other onto the chair. And now we're going to take the right leg up and keep the left leg, other way, left leg up, right leg on the chair. So kick the left heel up toward the wall, don't touch the wall, and then lower the left foot down. Keep both legs straight. Resist your back ribs away from the wall, take the right leg up, reach the heel up, turn the right top thigh in. And then take the right leg down. Now straighten the knees. Now you're strongly resisting your shin bones up and the femur bones up. Not as worried about locking the knees in this pose, because they're not that weight bearing. Now resist the shins and the knees and the thighs up and turn the thighs in. Raise the left heel up, turn the left thigh in. Then take the left leg down. Take the right leg up. Turn the right leg in. Turn the right leg in. And now take the right leg up to the wall, raise the left leg up to join it. So you're in Shirshasana at the wall. So now attempt to balance at the wall. Keep your shoulders lifting. I'm not able to say all of the things that you would do. It would sound like even more of a flurry of crazy words than it already does. So press your outer wrists down, keep those strong actions of the base, and now attempt to balance away from the wall. So bring the heels a little bit away from the wall, reach the heels up, top buttock up, tailbone up, middle buttock forward. Now we're doing the pose again, this time barely making contact with the chair. Reach that left heel up, turn that left thigh in. If the left heel has to go back and hit the wall, that's fine. Attempt to balance without it. Reach the left heel up, take the right leg down. Right shin bone resists up the whole time. Turn both of your thighs in. Turn both of the thighs in, go for the chair,
make contact, hold, turn the right thigh and the left thigh in, reach through the heels, keep lifting the shoulders, and then inhale, raise the right leg up. Turn the thighs in. If you need to hit the wall for your balance, that's fine, especially if you're really, really close to the wall. If your knuckles are right up against the wall, then yes, the top leg may have to use the wall. But we're going for balance without it. That just might not be possible if you're so close to the wall. But the wall prevents you from cantilevering your top leg back to help you with your balance. So sorry about that. It's good. Turn the thighs in. Resist the shin bones up, especially on the left leg. Lower the left leg down. Don't collapse onto the chair. Resist the shin up. Resist the thigh up. Turn the thighs in and reach through the right heel. Reach up, stretch that right heel up. And then lower the left foot down. See if you can raise the chair and then raise the left leg up. Last time, both sides. Turn the thighs in, reach up through the heels. Ekapada Shirshasana, using the chair for support. Turn the thighs in. Take the right leg down. This time, just use the wall. Press the left heel back into the wall. Turn the right thigh in, stretch through the inner ankle, the inner heel. Resist the shin bone up. Touch the chair. And then inhale, come up. That's your base. Keep your outer wrists going down. Lower the left leg down. Lower the left leg, resist the shin bone up, and then once you make contact, raise that leg back up. We're just kind of having a quick taste of the pose. And now take one leg down to the chair, and then the other. Lower the knees down to the floor, walk the feet off of the chair. Careful, and then push the chair away. Move the chair from off of the mat, and step your knees back. Extend your arms forward. Adho Mukha Virasana. When we do those one-legged variations, there's a little extra, can be a little extra strain on the neck. So stay in this pose, release the top of the buttock down toward the heels, release the head forward, release the shoulders. Although the head does release down toward the ground, also stretch from the back of the neck toward the hands. And walk the hands in, close to the feet, or close to the knees. Inhale to come up to sitting. And we're going to set up Setu Bandha, Sarvangasana. So, for this pose, you're going to grab a bolster, and you're going to be using 2 blocks at the wall for your feet. Try to move my chair out of the way because I really don't need it at this point anymore. I'm placing 2 blocks at the medium setting up against each other at the wall. This is going to be our restorative or resting pose for the class today. You're going to bring a bolster in long ways like this, set on the yoga mat. Make sure that your midpoint where your bricks come together is right in the middle of your mat. Join the bricks all the way together, and then make sure that your bolster is right in the middle of your mat. And to enter this pose, understand that when you're in the pose, you're aiming for having straight knees and your shoulders, straight knees with your heels pressing into the wall, and the top, kind of this back top shoulder area here in contact with the floor. So you might not get your exact seat measurement correct the first time, and it's fine to roll over, come out, adjust your props, and go in again. So I sit, and we'll see how I do with measuring here. I think I might be too close, but we'll see. You sit with your butt on your bolster. You have your knees bent. You place your feet up on the bricks. And then with a lifted chest, you lie back. And yeah, I can tell
way too close. So I'm gonna come off of my props completely, move my bolster back a little bit. Nothing is needed for under the head unless you have a lot of cervical. If you have a really severe forward head posture, you might need a blanket for under your head, but this pose can also help correct that. So you don't want to take too much support under the head. If you need a little, you can use a little. So you lie back. And then you, oh, now I'm too far. So I'm struggling with mine, just getting in and out. There we go. I think this will be the one. It might take 2 or 3 tries to get it just right. But when you lie back, you join the feet together. So the feet are, inner edges of the feet are all the way touching. You lie back with a lifted chest. And when you straighten your knees, you should feel that your body drags on the bolster and the flesh of the buttock gets dragged underneath you in the direction of the heels. And the main mass of the body slides in the direction of the head. The shoulders come down onto the ground. And you get a wide chest. You rest the arms out to the sides. Use your hands just for a moment to slightly pick up the head, elongate the back of the neck without hardening the throat, and then release the head down. Tuck your shoulders underneath you, release the arms out to the sides, turn your thighs in and press into your heels. This pose has some minor structural benefits. I mean, it has great structural benefits to the body, but they're not felt as these massive stretches or openings, or you're not really hitting hard resistances in the body, if you will. It's much more of a pose that's working on the organs. And I've said this a couple of times when we've done this pose, that you have to allow the organs of the abdomen to soften. And that softening process just first begins by allowing the muscles of the abdomen to soften, spread, and widen out to the sides. And breathe steadily. You don't have to breathe deeply. In fact, you shouldn't breathe so deeply that you're fighting with your rib cage, but just have normal breaths. And your ribs will expand and softly descend as you inhale and exhale, respectively. And be the observer of that process rather than trying to take some control or manipulation of the breath in any way. Just observe how the breath is moving. Go on turning the thighs in and extending from the groin to the inner heel. And then to exit the pose, slowly bend up the knees, place the feet off of the bricks onto the floor next near the bolster. and use your left foot to help propel you over to the right. Turn your hips and your knees to the right with the left foot and roll off of your props. Catch the head and the arm. And then come up to seated. And you've got your bolster on your mat. I'm going to turn my camera back to center once again. We're going to do just one last little sequence of poses. You're going to sit cross-legged in front of your bolster or off of your bolster. So I've got the bolster like this in front of me. You sit in Swastikasana with nothing under your buttocks. We're very intentionally having the butt lower than the knees here. So you still stack your feet right underneath your knees and extend forward. If you need to bring the bolster onto the shins, that's fine. Release the head forward. Take the head into the forearms, cross the forearms on the bolster. Some of you, if you're more mobile in the hips, the bolster might be completely on the ground and you might extend your chest over your legs and place your forehead on your arms on the bolster. The back will round, allow it to round. But see that it rounds symmetrically. Try to take the big hump at the upper back and extend the chest forward so that there's a smooth curvature to the whole length of the spinal column. Inhale to come up. Push the bolster away, change the cross of the legs. Once the legs are changed, pull the bolster back in close. And extend forward, rest the head. The back will round, make it a symmetrical rounding. Move the back ribs in and extend the chest forward. Release the knees down. If the knees give you a hard time here, you can always, one of the solutions is to take support under the buttocks and sit up more in a classical Swastikasana position where you have the butt higher than the knees, and then you'll just take more support for the head when you extend forward. This is Adho Mukha Swastikasana, downward facing, cross-legged. Soften, spread the lumbar. And inhale to come up. So my friends, that is all for today. You would be welcome to take Shavasana at this point if you like. We sort of have wound down the practice in a bit of a quieter few poses, so you would be welcome to conclude here if you like, or take Shavasana. And thank you very much for coming and participating either live or later on. So take care, everybody. We'll see you next time.